of the Institute of Education in 2023 and is still serving as the director of the institute to date. She's also a Senate representative to the board of Obafemolo University Staff School. Professor Ajayi is an external examiner to many institutions within and outside Nigeria. A resource person
that reach for the stars, hopes that soar as high as the imagination authorizes with the stars. A time when the humdrum transforms into the extraordinary, the simplest pleasures hold the power sundry, weaving lasting memories that endure. Childhood, a period of boisterous energy, misinterpreted as too playful, occasionally spanked at whims. Me, many words that hard to utter, but none there to listen. Hands ready to explore, but restricted. Oh, that I be understood as me. I am in my own world, unique and distinct me. Allow me to be me. See me bud, boom, and blossom. Let me be me. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the principal officers of the university, the deans of the faculties, the provosts of all colleges, directors of all units, all heads of the department, distinguished members of the Senate, royal fathers, spiritual fathers present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, students of this great institution, the Nigerian children, all associations working for the Nigerian child, ECAN, OMEP, FPCD, good deeds, gentlemen of the press. I am here today to deliver my inaugural lecture, which is the 404th edition in the university, the 21st in the Faculty of Education, the 6th in the Institute of Education, and the 1st in the Early Childhood Education Unit. To God alone be glory for granting me his favor and mercy that surrounds me like a shield to be among the scholars to do this. It is not by power nor by might, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. It is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Lord that sheweth mercy. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I studied early childhood education with a bias in language arts, a field of study that prepares professionals for effective and developmentally appropriate interaction with children in their early stage from the University of Ibadan. My research areas focus on child development, language and literacy development, play, playground, play themes, assessment, and cultural promotion in the early years. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the title Give Me My Childhood, the Lamentation of the 0 to the 8 years, is born out of my experience with children over the years on plethora issues that concern their holistic development from conception, which is the 0 age, because the child is not physically, to the age of 8. The experience of the child during this early period influences everything about the child into adulthood. That is why it is pertinent to really understand childhood and give appropriate attention to this stage of development before it is too late. Understanding childhood. The way childhood is viewed historically influenced the treatment of the concept. First and foremost, it has to be established that childhood is a shared humanity. While every human may not reach adulthood, everyone experiences childhood. This notion was aptly captured by Professor Ajike Osonye, founder of Early Childhood Association of Nigeria, in a 2012 inaugural lecture titled Once Upon a Child. Biologically, childhood starts from conception to the onset of adolescence, basically age of 12. Childhood can be classified into 3, namely early childhood, middle childhood, and late childhood. Every stage of childhood is important. The early childhood stage is the most critical as it sets the platform for subsequent stages of development. Early childhood education. This is the foundation of human life and the formative stage. It is a sensitive period of development because it shapes the trajectory of holistic development of the child. It is a period of rapid brain and body development with more than 1 million new neural connections formed every second. That is, the brain develops faster at this stage than any other period of development. Research has established that 90% of the brain develops in the first 5 years, with the remaining 10% developing in the later years. Indeed, the early childhood years are the most active period of establishing neural connections, although new connections can form throughout life. The connections in the early years will provide either a solid or weak foundation for the connections that are formed later in life. Hence, the period is therefore referred to as windows of opportunity. However, it can become windows of vulnerability if the appropriate environment are not provided at the right time. From Figs 2 and 3, the windows for various developments are shown. That is, when the development of a certain skill begins and when it closes. For instance, the windows for motor development open before before birth, while the child is still in the womb, and close between ages 5 and 7. The motor development in terms of fine and gross motor skills are best acquired and learned at this period. The fine motor refers to the use and coordination of small muscles in movement with eyes, hand, fingers, and wrist. There are 6 main fine motor skills that children must be able to exhibit before the close of this window. These are pincer grasp, hand-eye coordination, finger dexterity, scissor skills, writing readiness, and drawing abilities. The activities such as grasping, holding, buttoning, lacing, zipping, cutting, coloring with precision, and manipulating small objects and writing are the functions of fine motor. If children miss and have insufficient exposure to fine motor activities during these critical periods, they may experience difficulties acquiring these specific abilities. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, are there surgeons, dentists, pathologists, graphic artists, music professionals, architects, designers, teachers, and others in this auditorium today whose careers depend largely on fine motor skills? They will all agree with me that any fixation of fine motor muscles at this early year is detrimental to the realization of educational objectives of careers along this spectrum. Tasks that require delicate manipulation of fine motors will be difficult, and any mistakes may result into serious consequences. For instance, in the process of surgery by surgeons, any error may have life-threatening consequences, if not the death of the patient. Likewise, any careless strokes on the part of graphic artists may ruin the artwork. More importantly, teachers' handwriting can make or mar children's cognitive process of decoding written information. Chen et al. 2018 indicated that poor quality input from teachers in form of poor handwriting, can increase cognitive load, reduce memory, and learning efficiency. Some causes of fine motor muscles fixation that are often underplayed are environmental and psychological factors, such as poor stimulations either at home or in school, improper instructional methods, and parents' outrageous expectation of the child, leading to stress and anxiety in the child. Some expressions such as, I want my child to write 1 to 1,000 before the age of 2, like my neighbor's child, is an outrageous expectation that puts pressures on both the child and the teacher. In an attempt to meet these expectations, the teacher may resort to unorthodox methods, such as forcing the readiness of fine motor muscles by holding the child's hand to write. When teachers do this, it is an aberration to proper development of the fine motor muscles. The skills are to follow natural trajectory of maturation through engagement in fine motor activities with toys and other building, drawing, and manipulative materials without any pressure. Supporting this view, Ajayi and Oriowo 2020 established a strong relationship between visual perception and motor integration skills in the development and exhibition of handwriting among pupils in Osun State. Many learners have also suffered humiliation or setback due to their poor handwriting resulting from improper development of fine motor muscles. Historical context versus childhood as a social construct. The period of childhood from time immemorial was taken for granted by the adult world. Human race have been reproducing, bringing forth and showing affection to children, but childhood was not recognized or understood. Aries 1986 and Postman 1994 stated that the phenomenon called childhood was not understood in history. The idea of giving birth to children is not tantamount to childhood. At another period in history, children were seen as miniature adults, and they were not treated differently nor recognized as a being that is in need of particular concerns. They were given same treatment that adults experience. So this stage of life it is a stage of life that was despised or venerated by adults. Hence, in ages before the contemporary time, children engaged in practically what adults did. Even in sexuality games, they were not exempted. In the 19th and early 20th century, children were taken as property and economic assets. So they were made to work in factories and exposed to hardship to the extent that they experienced factory hazards. At another period, childhood was seen as the stage of innocence, with the notion that the child does not know anything, immature, irrational, incompetent, and has to depend totally on adults for attention, care, protection. Everything about the child is controlled by the adult world, with little or no opportunity given to children to be who they are. Their thoughts is controlled, play is controlled, dress and everything and anything about the child is controlled. Children have been turned to zombie that must obey the last order, whether they like it or not, whether it is convenient for them or not. All this under the guise that they do not know their left from the right. Though in traditional African society, children were not subjected to such hardship. Children were loved and cherished, and they were seen as gifts from God until civilization was embraced. They therefore became objects of possession. Ajayi and Iroego 2023. However, despite the love for children in the African setting, the ideology of children are to be seen and not heard was held on to, which was not helpful to childhood development. If all of us sitting here today who cast our minds back to our childhood period, I know many may have inner pains remembering their childhood, while a few feel satisfied with their childhood experience. It has been stated that very often memories of this period in our lives become imbued with nostalgia or were too painful to recall. Childhood goes beyond biological and embryonic model. It is an active social agent with emotions, with their own perspectives, and who can construct their own meaning to life and contribute to the society as well. So they are not passive recipients of socialization. Rather, they inhabit a world of meaning created by themselves and through interactions with adults. Hence, there is the need for the reconstruction of childhood for clearer understanding, treatment, and values accorded to children in the contemporary time. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, who says children do not have opinion of their own? Who says they cannot make decisions? My personal experience while growing up attests to this, that children can make personal decisions as early as possible. At age 2, I was taken to my hometown on a visit to my paternal grandmother from Ibadan. When my parents were ready to go back to their base, it was said that I bade them goodbye and decided to stay with my granny. My parents thought I was joking. They made the move of leaving, thinking I would cry and follow them. To their amazement, I did not consider them for a second. And that was how I stayed with Granny from the age of 2 till she passed on when I was 6 years old. She did her best to give me an endearing childhood, which I could not forget. Like an adult, children also face situations that require them to make some decisions, though the capabilities of decision making are not fully developed because it is a complex process. It behoves on adults to guide children and not to force their own opinions on children. They should be allowed to exercise the cognitive processes of decision making in a socially responsive environment. When children are allowed to engage in decision making, it enhances their cognitive, emotional, and moral development. This is not indulgence, but helping a child to have a balanced development by being flexible, responsive, consistent, and using discipline as supportive measures than punitive for children. Helping a child develop holistically involves interconnection of both biological and social constructs of childhood, that is, nature and nurture concept. And it is what should start from the 0 age. Holistic development refers to a child's growth and development in all areas: physical, social, emotional, intellectual, language, and moral. All these areas are interconnected, and any deficiency in any aspect will directly or indirectly influence the other. It is to be pointed out here that the religion of the duty to childhood is what is responsible for the decadence or catastrophe in the world. Hence, the house is shaking, and the Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Convention on the Rights of the Child and Childhood. The Convention on the Rights of the Child, 1989, is a document that spells out the rights of children. Some of these rights are right to life and development, right to identity, right to play, right to their own language and culture, right to quality education, among others. Normans 2017 therefore stated that the rights can be classified into 3 P's, namely protection. Children are to be protected from neglect, abuse, exploitation, and discrimination. Provision. Children should have rights to necessary goods, services, and resources. Participation. Children should be respected as active members of their family, community, and society, contributing from their earliest years. Unfortunately, almost all these rights are trampled upon at different sectors. Hence, the basis for childhood lamentation, which is the focus of this lecture. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, childhood lamentation, as far as this lecture is concerned, is the silent cry, the longing, unmet desire in the heart of children on issues that have to do with their growth and development, care and learning, which are taken for granted, trampled upon, neglected, and denied. This implies what makes childhood indeed and not there. Such issues are play, playground, playthings, care, education, safety, identity, language, culture, and so on. So long these issues are kept at bay, the children's holistic development will keep hanging in the balance, and there will be no childhood. Hence, the lamentation will not only keep increasing, but also negatively affecting holistic development of children, their later life, and even the society at large. Many a time, they result into recalcitrant or throw tantrum when they do not know how to express their minds to the adults to understand. Instead, they get spanked and traumatized. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, here are the trends of children's mourning, all culminated as one childhood lamentation. Do I matter at all? Am I really an empty slate? Why am I right trampled upon? Why am I debarred from play? Where are playgrounds or open spaces? Where are playthings, toys for me to play with? Where is my language? What is my identity? Why is my environment hostile to me? I am me and not another person. Let me be. Let us therefore consider them one after the other. Do I matter at all? Many children are silently asking existential questions such as, do I matter at all? Because of what they experience. This question goes beyond mere rhetorics. It echoes the persistent neglect, abandonment, invisibility, and marginalization that children face. The Lamentation shows children's desire for recognition, respect, love, and inclusion in the places they inhabit. In many instances, children are ignored, misinterpreted, and dismissed as not to matter. When nursery education is regarded as jealousy, what does that connote? It means that the children are troubling you at home, and you need somewhere to keep them for you to rest. Instead of recognizing nursery education as foundational stage to be given critical attention in the best interest of the child. Can there be a house without a foundation? If a mansion or castle is built on a wobbly foundation, will the house stand? This is a food for thought. The children cry, do I matter at all? Is for affirmation and justice against emotional neglect, social marginalization, policy insincerity. For instance, there is emotional unavailability and inconsistency on the part of parents, caregivers, and other stakeholders. More importantly, in this age of technology, where technological devices get more attention from every adult around them than the child, children feel lonely, despite the fact that they are with their parents and other adults around them. Parent-child bonding or adult-child interaction specified by attachment and sociocultural theories for healthy development of children has been transferred to technological devices in homes. Fathers, mothers, teachers that are here today, are you not guilty? Ajayi Akonmu and Popola 2023 assess the experience of children with the use of technologies by Nigerian parents. The findings showed that families in Nigeria are becoming technologically sophisticated. Parents' use of technologies is on the high rate, and children-parent relationship is negatively influenced. Hence, children in Nigeria are experiencing social distancing from their parents. So, the yearnings in the mind of children are begging for positive action from all adults to give an unequivocal answer. Yes, you matter. You are seen, heard, valued, and loved to childhood through the provision of all that will make them develop and thrive adequately. Am I really an empty slate? Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the ideology of John Locke about children has done more harm to childhood than good, as it has affected the way children are perceived and treated in the education sector. John Locke viewed children as an empty slate, tabula rasa, that the environment needs to write on. The implication is that nature is the only driving force for children's intellectual development. The theory seems to turn child to automation that is to be programmed to do the bid of the environment, but the questions to be considered are, where is the place of nature in a child? What does being pre-wired stand for? What is the child pre-wired for? Is the child not hardwired for certain attributes? Studies have established that children are pre-wired for language readiness, emotional attachment, curiosity, and intrinsic value to explore. Pre-wired for number sense, pre-wired for social engagement, and many more. The environment is just to activate the pre-wired potentials. By being hardwired implies that there are permanent and fixed neural mechanisms in the child's brain and body for certain traits and behavior that children do not need to learn, but rather to be stimulated. They are innate, only need to be activated by the environment. Many children are tongue-lashed and are called dullards, olodo. It is to be placed on record that no child is a dullard. If any child is not doing academically, many factors that can be categorized into intrinsic, that is maturation, learning styles, and extrinsic, that is form factors, curriculum, pedagogy, instructional materials, teachers' personalities must be carefully considered. Why are my rights trampled upon? children in different nations have been experiencing the violation of their rights. They are exposed to all forms of abuse, violence, child labor, abandonment, and so on, until there were documents to protect them. The first international document, known as Geneva Declaration of the Rights of the Child, came out in 1924. It was initiated by Eglantin Jebb, who was the founder of Save the Children. She advocated the rights of children all over the world. By this, she changed the narratives of how the world regarded and treated children. In 1989, and United Nations further expanded the declaration and named it Convention on the Rights of the Child. The rights are then classified into 4 core principles, namely non-discrimination, best interest of the child, rights to life, survival, and development, respect for the views of the child. This was domesticated in Nigeria in 2003. Despite the legal international document, UNICEF and International Labour Organization reported that in sub-Saharan Africa, 87 million trafficked children are serving as laborers within the age range of 5 and 11. The situation is worrisome to the extent that there is the fear of whether the continent Africa is safe for children anymore. At home front, and Olubunmi Ajayi 2021 studied cases of child abuse in homes in Osun State. The results show that different forms of child abuse occur in homes, and which are considered as either abuse or discipline or training measure. The study concluded that child abuse is still a menace that must be attended to through massive awareness program to parents and stakeholders. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, children's right to quality education is being denied as well. With 2025 statistics, 272 million children are out of school globally, while Nigeria has 18.3 million, which means childhood's right to education is trampled upon in Nigeria. Even those who are in school could hardly read or write their names at the completion of primary education due to poor educational quality. Why am I debarred from play? Play is a concept that adults always frown at. Most of the time, one hears statements such as, "You play too much, you are too playful," and others like that from parents and teachers. This is because adults have erroneous beliefs or misconceptions about play. Even teachers, who are supposed to know better, are not helpful. This misconception affects the extent to which children are allowed to play, either at home or in school. To the adult world, the following are the views about play. Play is a waste of time and frivolous. Children do not learn anything when they play. Play makes a child to be a dollar. With these views, play is always kicked against, and no time is scheduled for play, either at home or in school. Rather, children are bombarded with academic activities all day. As they return from school, lesson teachers are either waiting for them, or there are loads of homework to be attended to, even on weekends. In school, the duration for break and long break has been reduced to accommodate more subjects. In Olubunmi Ajayi and 2025 study, curriculum overload was established in majority of private schools explored in Osun State, where it is stated that 26 subjects were taught as what used to be a single subject, where before were split and made to assume the status of a whole subject on the timetable. The timetable was choked and playtime reduced. The workload was found to significantly affect the emotional well-being of pupils. Facts about play. It must be stated here that play is children's work and central to their learning and development. Play is the way children wrestle with life to make it meaningful. In fact, when children are not allowed to play, it does more harm to their total being. Play is a ring connecting all domains of development in children. Research has established that 6 feel-good hormones are stimulated when children play. These are endorphins, oxytocin, dopamine, norepinephrine, butyric acid, and serotonin. The hormones are referred to as the key to mental health, such as improved mood, stress reduction, greater happiness, and a strong feeling of being alive. It is further stated that the effect of these hormones spans beyond childhood to adulthood. So, let children play instead of being told to sit down and reel off facts. Children and indigenous play. Westernization has blinded African eyes that we see nothing worthwhile in our values any longer. Before Western playthings, African children have been playing. There are so many indigenous plays and games that enhance total development of African children. Pathetically, most of the indigenous plays are now strange to the young generation. However, if children will play, there must be a play area where they can exhibit innate abilities in them. Where is my playground or open spaces? This is another cry and longing in the heart of children. In this age of modernization, digitalization, urbanization, and so on, children naturally love to explore in different environments. So they need free spaces, either indoor or outdoor. Playground is that physical space where children can play and express themselves without any inhibition. Learning environment is not limited to the classroom for children. Playgrounds and open spaces are where the comprehensive development and learning are nurtured. Hence, playground is many things to children. It is referred to as microcosm of the society, where they exhibit and learn skills that will stay with them for life. It is a sanctuary where children feel safe, free, relaxed, and protected to express their innate potential. It is a workstation where imagination comes alive. Innovations are displayed and socialization is at its peak. Pathetically, the open spaces are no longer there. They have been converted to estates and shopping mall and the like by the adult world. Where are playthings, toys for me to play with? Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, adults should realize that play materials such as toys are not items of amusement or to keep children busy, but learning instruments in their hands, because every toy has its educative side. It is to be emphasized that children need playthings to facilitate the play and play behavior in them. The play material should of necessity be developmentally appropriate for their age, the type of play, and the place of play. Most theorists and early childhood scholars such as Piaget, studies have established that they are invaluable place in children's learning and development and not a distraction to them. Ajayi and Kukola 2018. Where is my language? With civilization and westernization, children have been ostracized from their cultural background. They cannot speak the language. In a bid to speak English fluently like the natives, children are hindered from acquiring the native language from birth. Rather, they wake up into speaking English language, which ought to be learned after the acquisition of mother tongue. It is worth noting that language is central to the child's sense of self, relationship, community values, and traditional knowledge system. A scholar once said that when people's language is taken away from them, what is left is just geographical and not a people. It is the language that makes a people unique. So the inability of children to speak their mother tongue severed them from the cultural heritage, and it resulted in their loss of identity and privacy. Who am I, and what is my identity? The children are asking the question, who am I? What is my identity? It is because they are confused right from the early stage of life. Identity refers to the sense of who we are as an individual and as members of social group. Identity development commences at babyhood between 15 and 18 months when they start recognizing themselves in photographs or mirror. From 18 months to 3 years, they begin to show preferences and make consistent choices. By ages 3 and 5, they begin to internalize social messages from people around them through play and imitation. By 6 to 8 years, they develop self-concept, expressing internal attributes like competence, personality, and feeling. The identity is shaped by upbringing experiences, relationship, and culture. But when the various environments that play significant roles in childhood identity formation are not safe or secure, there will be identity crisis. And when there is identity crisis, there will be emotional chaos. They may start questioning values, beliefs, goals, lack of direction, and life purpose, as well as shifting identity. By the time they become adolescents, they become rebellious to authority at different quarters. Why is my environment hostile to me? Children have lots of potential in them that can only blossom in a safe and secure environment. In a hostile or toxic environment, it is impossible for the potential to blossom. Any context that compromises children's well-being and development is a toxic or hostile environment. So, exposing children to any form of discrimination as a result of gender, economic background, and the like show a hostile or toxic environment. This was established by Lawal and Ajayi 2021 study. I am me and not another person. Let me be. This is childhood cry for the identification of their unique autonomy, not in terms of indulgence and respect for individuality. Children are lamenting against adult-imposed expectations, social conformity, and developmental pressures that often suppress children's unique voice. The children are calling for the right to exist as a unique individual, freedom from adult projections, and being forced into version of what others want. They cry for emotional and psychological autonomy. When supportive opportunities are not given, the imposed identity will lead to confusion and resentment. Childhood and assessment. Children are not allowed to be, through their exposures to standardized testing, assessment, and curriculum pressure. Ajayi 2019 discovered that the assessment procedure in schools are not developmentally appropriate, in that it was basically paper, pencil. Childhood and norms. Children are being hindered to be who they are by the rigid behavioral norms, which are rooted in cultural context, religious beliefs, and social expectations. For instance, gender stereotype of boys being preferred to girls, or boys being expected in certain professions and girls in others, is detrimental to the functionality of children, especially girl child. This is condemned in Ajayi 2012 in a study where females were found to be at the low percentage of leadership roles as compared to men. Factors such as educational attainment, political inclination, cultural, social, or self-esteem were found to be responsible for low participation. It is concluded that girl child education should be taken more serious, and girl child should be exposed to opportunities early in life that will enhance their abilities to develop confidence, self-esteem, and leadership traits. Childhood and parental comparison. Parent comparison is another causative factor to this childhood outcry. When parents keep telling their children, you are not like Lagbaja, it does a great harm to childhood development, because they will internalize the statements of comparison. This pull down the self-esteem of children and create anxiety. Such statements can result in identity crisis, depression, and mental health. It is to be emphasized, therefore, that every child is unique and develop at their own pace. Parents should bear in mind that to keep comparing children with others is a tickling bomb that may explode in adolescence. Hence, the childhood lamentation is a call to all stakeholders to celebrate their uniqueness and let me be. Only provide enabling environment at home, in school community, and the larger society that will help me thrive. Early childhood education as a field of study. It is a specialized field within education. It is a multifaceted and interdisciplinary field of study. However, there are lots of erroneous views about early childhood education. Some are, it is just babysitting or child-minding course. Many people assume that studying early childhood merely prepares one to watch over children, feed them, and keep them occupied. The notion overlooks the intellectual, developmental, and pedagogical expertise required to activate meaningful learning experience in children. 2, anyone can do it. There is no need for formal training. It is viewed that teaching young children requires no specialized knowledge. So anybody can teach it. It is important that whoever will teach children must understand child development, should be able to design age-appropriate learning environments and handle diverse needs effectively. The question that may be asked is, do you employ a tailor or a carpenter to build your house? It is absurd and is considered interdepartmental illiteracy. Are we not a living witness to wrong personnel in early childhood education centers where they beat up children as if they are dealing with animals? Hope we have not forgotten Ikorodu saga. There are several unreported cases of such happening in our schools due to lack of understanding childhood and lack of training. It is an easy or inferior course. Some view early childhood as less rigorous than other professional programs like medicine, law, engineering. This undermines the complexity of early childhood study, which demand critical knowledge of human development, curriculum, research, assessment, and research. Early childhood education and medicine are 2 ends of continuum, with early childhood education at the first end and medicine at the other end. While early childhood education is about building whole lives, medicine is about rescuing wounded lives. Why not build childhood well and reduce having wounded lives later life? This erroneous views was displayed some years ago by a notable scholar who said, and I quote, which parent will send his or her child to the university for 4 years to come and study early childhood education? This is the highest level of ignorance at display from the gown that should inform the town. We were also a laughing stock in the faculty at the early stage of this program. I was teaching in a class one day when a professor just strolled in with the intention of making jest and drove us out of the class to occupy. He faced the students and asked, "What course are you offering?" The student chorus, early childhood education. Then he asked, "Are you enjoying the course?" The chorus again, "Yes, it is a great course." He was dumbfounded and left without any word. To the glory of God, some of the students that day are now PhD holders, as well as lecturers in this institution and other places. Ironically, the professor, after many years, sent his daughter to come and study the course he had once run down. 4, there is no serious career prospect in early childhood education. Many students run away from early childhood education because of the belief that it leads to low-paying jobs or limited opportunities. It is to be stated that the field offers broad and impactful career pathway in teaching, curriculum development, policy making, child advocacy, academic research. 5, early years do not matter. Serious learning begins later. This is an age-long notion that real education starts in primary school. While playgroup, preschool is just a play stage. Research consistently proves that early years are the most critical for laying the foundation for literacy, numeracy, social-emotional competence, and so on. Let it be reiterated that neglecting early childhood stage is neglecting adulthood. If we refuse to give attention to the level of development and education like Finland, Japan, Sweden, New Zealand, Norway, and Denmark, where the best brains are recruited to handle early learners, we are not going anywhere in Nigeria. The early childhood program in those countries adopt play-based learning, child-centered, inclusive approaches, and deploy teachers with not less than master degree to teach in the early childhood education centers, with the view to building a solid foundation for the upcoming generations and for better life. Administrative services. Service to the Institute. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, since I joined the university, I have been functioning in the 3 tiers of academic, research, community, service. I became the director in 2003. During my tenure, all problematic results were processed. The language arts program students who could not go on national service because of some issues were cleared along with the sisters department. All language arts and communication are verified and commenced in 2022 and 2023 academic session. In 2023 and 2024 academic session, early childhood education program commenced. In the area of research, I published 70 papers. I have also collaborated with colleagues to carry out research activities. In community service, I have served as conference chairperson, secretary in many times. I initiated the mobile daycare service when Institute had a large number of part-time students coming to write examinations at OAU Campus Moro. The center has metamorphosized into child care center, serving demonstration center for early childhood education students from undergraduate to postgraduate level. I initiated this celebration of World Book Day in March 2025. During my tenure as the director, 2 academic staff were pronounced to senior lecturer cadre, 1 to professor, 2 were upgraded to lecturer 1. My tenure also witnessed the election of an academic member of the institute to vice dean of the faculty. Service to the faculty. I served as a member of local organizing committee of the first faculty conference. I served in various committees in the faculty, such as postgraduate committee, faculty board of examiners, and so on. Service to the university. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, since my appointment in this institution in 2007, I have been teaching, researching, and participating in community services. I was appointed to serve as HM of Obafemi Awolowo University Staff School. During my tenure, primary 5 and 6 block was renovated. All wooden lockers and desks were replaced with modern lockers and desks, courtesy the Parent-Teacher Association under the chairmanship of Dr. Pius Olayeni. The nursery section was also renovated, equipped, and educational and play materials, courtesy the university management under the chairmanship of Professor Olubola Babalola, the former DVC academic. I resuscitated the Searchlight, the school magazine that had gone moribund for years. I initiated the celebration of Play Day in Staff School for 2 consecutive years to promote play and healthy development. I am currently serving as Senate representative to Staff School. Service to other institutions. I have served several as external examiner to institutions within and outside Nigeria. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I serve as resource person to series of agencies. And I am currently serving as co-researcher with some other early childhood academia in 4 other nations: Hong Kong, United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Austria. Acknowledgments. First and foremost, my indebtedness goes to the Almighty God, who gives me life, turns my life around from grace to grace, counts me worthy of the privilege to be among the professors in this great institution. I appreciate the Obafemi Awolowo University for bringing me in to serve in different capacity. Special thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Adebayo Simeon Bamire, for the opportunity provided for me to serve in my little way. I appreciate former DVC academic, Professor Olubola Babalola, who did not relate with me as a boss, but as a sister. I will not forget to acknowledge the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Abayomi Daramola, who after many years of applying for accommodation on campus, got one for me in 2022. I also appreciate Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Development, Professor Ibukun Akoni Akiyemi, who invited me into research activities for professional development. Many thanks to all who accommodated me when I had no place to put my head. My appreciation goes to all the staff of Institutes of Education, academic and non-academic. Special thanks goes to my parents, Pa Reverend Michael Olusoye and Madam Deborah Oyidamola Ajiteru. I give God the glory for granting you the privilege to witness the fruit of your labor over me. When you struggled to pay my school fees then, little did you know that the Lord will grant you the real privilege to witness today. My mother, thank you very much for handling me that very day when I said I don't want to go to school again, because you were trekking from Eleyele to Ibadan Municipal Government School, Mokola, shortly after Civil War. If you had handled it negatively then, only the heaven would have known where I would be today. I appreciate my siblings and their families. I appreciate the Ajayi's dynasty for the support in one way or the other. I cannot forget to appreciate the pupils of St. Peter's African Church Primary School, Onyon, where the love and passion was ignited. Obafemi Awolowo University Star School and pupils, you are amazing. I enjoyed every bit of the time I spent with them. I was pronounced a professor when I was with them. Who says children do not know anything? The old school was in an opera when the children heard the news. They trooped out, put me at the middle, and they were dancing. After that day, it was an expression of pride among them. Do you know our HM is a professor? Greater heights we will go. Appreciation goes to the founders, executive and members of ECAN, FPCD, OMEP, who did for the advocacy. I appreciate all my teachers from the foundation level to the peak of education. My supervisor at Master and PhD, Professor Akimbote, Professor C.O. Kolawole, and Professor Esther Odolowo. I appreciate Christ Ambassadors Evangelistic Team, Kayet Bashorun. I appreciate the Class 77 Anglican Grammar School, Otanyegbaju, and Otanyegbaju Progressive Union for coming. Thank you very much. Special thanks to my proofreader, Inaugural Welfare Committee, researcher, and so on. I appreciate the Vice Chancellor, Lagos State University, Professor Bidemi Lafiaji Ogunleye, as well as the Sports Council, UI, and KHE Department, University of Ibadan. To my immediate family, words are not enough to express my gratitude to you, Professor Michael Adeniyi Ajayi, my love, my priest, my prayer partner, and academic guide. Thank you for the journey so far. To my inestimable jewels, Oluwatumininu, Shalom, Inioluwa, Iyanoluwa. Thank you for your endurance from my student days when we were studying together until today that I am delivering the inaugural lecture. My sons, Ifedayo Afolabi and Faith Abiodun, thank you for being there. To crown it all, I appreciate my adorable grandchildren, Oluwadabira and Owoluwatishisimi. You have inspired me with your smile, cry, and disposition. To my numerous people that have contributed in one way or the other to my success, I do not underrate your contribution. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, childhood lamentation is to everyone: parents, teachers, school owners, curriculum planners, the government, and the researchers, to give attention to them. Childhood cry for respect of their uniqueness, love, and to be allowed to voice out what is on their mind and to be listened to. Childhood cry for enabling environment where they are safe, secure, and nurtured. Childhood cry for developmentally appropriate pedagogy, assessment that will enhance appropriate decisions on and about them. Let us join hands together to give childhood all it takes to be what they are meant to be. Let us remember to pay attention to childhood. And let us remember that paying attention to childhood is like banking for the future we all desire. Let us invest our time, our kind, and cash into childhood, and we will reap in multiple folds if we faint not, because early years matters. To him who is able to keep us from stumbling and to present us before his glorious presence without fault and great joy. To the only God, our Savior, the glory, majesty, power, authority, through Jesus Christ our Lord, before all ages, now and forevermore. Amen.
Olubunmi University, Ile-Ife. Certificate of Presentation of Inaugural Lecture. This satisfies that Anna Olubunmi Ajayi, a professor of early childhood education in the Institute of Education, Faculty of Education, Olubunmi University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, delivered the 404th inaugural lecture titled, "Give Me My Childhood, the Lamentation of the 0 to 8 years, on August 26, 2025. Congratulations.